This is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and this is a review about a year later of Wicked Part 2, Wicked for Good. The first one was reviewed on my birthday last year, and now it is nearly that time again this year. It's actually, I apparently waited to see the first one like a week. This one, I'm on the day after opening day to see the sequel. Packed house, packed mall, ridiculously crowded. Um, so the previews. Let's not even bother going into the previews. I mean, some of them are. Yeah, let's not even do the previews. Or anything else that it's compared to, like the play, for instance. I know that Stone Gremlins already did their review of it, and I watched a little bit of theirs. But hopefully, Red Letter Media will do both now that they've come out. I think as a two-part movie together makes an excellent Best Picture nominee and song and that kind of thing for this year, because there really isn't much of anything else, but also it was good. So yeah, okay. Some of the drawbacks may lie in that it doesn't quite follow the play and it adds a lot of extra stuff. The play is only 2 hours with an intermission in between. The first movie clocked in at 2 hours. This is 2 hours and 16 minutes. So they added a lot to the extra stuff in there. Yeah. The book version also has a more dramatic repose to the. So this was discovered on another channel, on a more of a dramatic repose as of the wizard's origin with the witch. It's worse in the book. It's actually like an assault of the wicked girl's lady's mother. In this one, it's not. In this one, it's he was fooling around. She was fooling around with the mother was fooling around. Made the wicked girl. There's some. They almost give away the gags at the end. And once you put all the pieces together, it's like, oh, that's what they were gonna do. To do that, I don't know if they. I think the movie is the one that did that, because I think she's just gone at the end of the play. No, but yeah, the movie did that. There's this. This is sort of an Elseworld. The whole thing has been an Elseworld version of, using a DC term, an Elseworld version of the Wizard of Oz. It's an alternate universe Wizard of Oz where these other things happened because these people threw things in, and that might make some fans of the original, the classic, which was based on the Frank L. Baum books, cringe. There are some interesting changes, which I'm sure many of them, like the John Solo show and the Lost in Translation show, have gone over. Regarding Wicked and Wicked 2 and Wicked and all the books and stuff. Mainly the books, because they hadn't done part 2 yet. Of the movies. Well, they will, but yeah. So our audience here was enthralled, invested. The singing is top notch, and at least the characters aren't trying to annoy and piss off their fan base. That's nice. This time around, at least. So unlike the Snow White movie, this one is trying really hard to be like a Disney movie. The princess lady and Gwendolyn good witch thing, fairy godmother thing. So there's, I think it works. It works as if you put the two movies together. Kind of like how they're doing Kill Bill, The Two Bloody Affair. They're doing all 4 hours of the Kill Bill saga in December. I don't think I'm going to cover that, because I don't think I can sit through 4 hours of a movie. That's nuts. Not since, unless it's a big event and we have to cover it. Then, okay, fine. But yeah, the last time we did a 4 hour movie was Oppenheimer. Seemed like it was 4 hours. It was probably 3, but it seemed like it was 4. There's gonna be spoilers, because Wicked, there's spoilers, so there has to be, because let's review spoilers, plot oriented spoilers. It's the continuation of the Oz story. Looks like the character of Michelle Yeoh's character, the evil witch lady in the background pulling the strings. She's not part of the Wizard of Oz. Obviously, she's part of the fanfic. And about a third of the way through this, we discover that the reason that this guy wrote this book in the first place is he's his heart up for the witch, and he wanted to do a fan fiction where he gets to get with the witch, and then get turned into another guy as the hot captain of the guard guy. There's an arranged marriage in it that goes south, and he ends up with the witch. You know, with Glenda, and he ends up with the witch. And then you have the other reveals. They kind of already shot their wad a little bit in the last one, because just one in the last one they kind of said that the big reveal of the wizard is the father of the other lady. They kind of said it in the last movie, and he acts like he just forgot or something. Understandably, the second movie takes place about maybe 10 to 12 years later or something like that. Than the first one. It was several years later. Yeah, and although the lady playing the witch currently doesn't really look anything like the actress from the original Wizard of Oz, who now there was a trap door though under this. So there's that. Yeah, so and she was not a pretty, like, hot looking witch lady. She was not hot. The other lady's kind of hot, so it's like, wait a minute, she's not hot. Like, in real life, you wouldn't, yeah, she's not. Unless beauty is skin deep, and he loves her anyway for being a croon and a witch character. Often witches were a racially motivated symbol of a certain ethnic group. We won't name them, and they would often be ostracized for their earth mothery behavior, and they weren't really witches. They were just ostracized because they were a certain group. Yeah, there was a similar one in the film in Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame. There was a member of that group in there too. That was a witch. But yes, so we won't go there. As for YouTube not to flag us. So yes, so yeah, they have musket guns in it. At one point, the guard has guns, and they're dressed in these really, really strange emerald outfits to go with the city. Except the guard got... Now, in the book, the Frank Belmont book, the witch, is it the East one that gets a house dropped on her? She actually had no arms in the book. In the 1930s movie, she wasn't disabled. In this movie, she's in a wheelchair. So making her off as this evil chick in a wheelchair is kind of messed up. She doesn't want to play it that way, but yeah, they cast an actress that is in a wheelchair. You're going to play the villain. You realize you're going to play the villain, right? Maybe she was into it, but yeah. The idea that behind the scenes certain things lead to certain other things because they're mad is a little strange. But that's a current trope of 21st century movies. Often you will have characters behaving in ways that seem kind of childish and weird to X generation people. Look back and go, why would they act like that? Why are they behaving like that? Yeah. For example, in this movie at least, you can complain about some of the new. Well, for an example, in the new Star Trek, Stranger Worlds, it's not a tangent, they behave like they're in cadet school, and they're officers on a spaceship. They're Navy, Space Navy. They should be behaving like they're officers on a ship, not cadets. Kind of the same thing here. They're witches, and they're in charge of a town, city, an ethereal realm. Wouldn't they be beyond acting catty to each other? I mean, yeah, there's catty scenes in it, but it's like, does that really make sense in your story? I understand it's in the book, it's in the play, but yes. But yeah, the songs, memorable songs. Of course, in the second half you have that other one with the "I Love You" song, which is clearly I forget the name of it, but it's the song where they're singing. He's in love with the witch, and it's from the vantage point of the play version. So it's the play version. It's not the book version. It's not in the book. Um, and and uh, and it's cringe, but the way they play it, it's not cringe in the movie. You're meant to be uncomfortable, but not completely like grossed out like Kylo Ren, in that other movie. but yeah, it's Universal trying to be Disney and have a prince and a princess. It's kind of funny. I think they called it Wicked for Good just because they didn't want to call it Wicked Part 2, but it should just be called Wicked Part 2. The for good thrown on the end kind of doesn't really... I know there's a song in there, and that's where they got it from, but Wicked 2 would have been fine. I guess like they did with 2 years ago with the Dead Reckoning, Mission Impossible. They were like, oh, we have to call the next one Final Reckoning because they won't get that it's a part 2. The audience's attention span for millennials is... Well, millennials aren't generally watching Tom Cruise anyway. It's us, the next generation. Our generation watch them. So they would know. They would get Final Reckoning Part 2. Dead Reckoning Part 2 would have been fine. So just like this one would have been fine too. The Superman movie referencing the right thing is paid off. The Fantastic Four referencing the right things paid off. Yeah. Although Mark's Cards doesn't like the idea of there being a baby in it, but the baby's part of the plot. He's like a in that other movie, not in this one. Well, no, I don't know if I want to see that. It's got a baby. I heard about the baby. Yeah, but he's like a Q. He's like a yeah. He's got powers. So yeah, he's not really he's a baby, but he's yeah. So in this movie, they don't have any babies, fortunately. So there's no babies to look forward to. You have some weird cinematic choices because it's an expansion of the second hour of the play, and so you have kind of a scary a version of the Tin Woodsman. He basically goes bonkers and he's just singing about like dismembering the witch and stuff. I don't recall the original story being him being that like murder happy and wanting. Yeah, I mean he was a woodsman, but yeah, he was kind of he was more kindly than that. Yeah, he wasn't like I'm gonna cut off her head, didn't eat it or something. So he's acting like he wasn't necessarily, but just kind of like he's acting like. There's the release of the monkeys part. So there's let's just go into the story, the plot. Yeah, takes up about maybe 10, 15 years after the original story. Takes off into a sequel. We have the governess lady in the wheelchair who is the other witch, and she is acting witchy. And her munchkin boyfriend is being mistreated, and she's made a law so he can't leave, in order so he can't ever leave her. She's all obsessed with trapping him, in a similar way to an old Disney cartoon where the rabbit had captured a bird and was the rabbit guy captured a bird in the Winnie the Pooh, Disney's Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. It was infamously gaslighting a bird. Strange. But yes, so we have this guy that's freaking out, and he becomes this other guy later on. He does the whole spiel. But yeah, so there's that. The one Glenda is going to be married to the captain of the guard guy, who is clearly going to be one of the other people that Dorothy encounters later on, and so yeah, Dorothy's going to show up, and we at one point meet the Cowardly Lion, so who is more lion-like. So we're like, oh, he's going to be obviously the third guy. But obviously, I'm not going to give away everything. He's the third guy. He's the one that's in love with Elphaba, though. He's not really in love with Gwendolyn. They've set up a marriage, big marriage spectacular thing between the two of them. But Elphaba crashes it at one point. She's trying to get the monkeys, but she's also crashing it. And the husband to be ends up running off with her to get frisky. with the witch. Gwendolyn doesn't actually have magic powers. She has a disability, so she can have them. I guess Elphaba has magic powers because she's half from the world of the earth and half from where the wizard's from, and half from the land of Oz. Somehow that works. That's addressed a couple times. We have the whole reveal of who she is in relation to the wizard. I won't give away everything. I will leave it at that. But they kind of already hinted at that in the last one. So they hinted at it. Yeah. The hints are pretty obvious if you're following along. I wouldn't say either of these movies are necessarily for young kids, though, because they're a little bit intense in parts. But yeah, other than that, 12, 13 is fine. A little over that is fine. But yeah. But the movie, but maybe if your kid isn't scared, I guess it's fine. But yeah, there's so there's gonna be a wedding with a wedding in it. There's lots of songs. There's lots of people. They hint at and then call to attention. If she's so wicked, the water will melt her, the witch, and that becomes a theme, and it's a theme in the end. I won't give away the ending in the review, even though I'm giving away some plot spoilers, because the ending kind of doesn't make sense. The very, very end, like almost a post-credit scene, like something happens, and then there's an Elseworld kind of thing going on, and it's like, why does this have to be in here? Why does the author of the book have to end up with the witch at the end and go off into the sunset? Maybe that's in the book. Didn't get all the way through the book. That would be just weird. Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be if he was writing a Mary Sue about himself and he wanted to be. He just really, really loved the witch, really into her, and makes himself one of the other guys. This movie tries very hard to be behind the scenes of The Wizard of Oz, and it tries so hard that it does things in it that thematically, although cool in the movie and one of the best pictures of the year, which it is, these scenes are a little strange in there. I know it's in the play and it's in the book, but they're a little forced, as if it's a fanfic, which it is. The writer admitted to it, fanfic. But yeah, it's like, how do you, like, okay, evil sorceress lady in the castle conjures a tornado, and that tornado happens to bring Dorothy to Oz and land on the witch's house and all that stuff. One of the witches and the Wizard of Oz, which starts off. Earlier on, we encounter the woodsman guy and the cat guy. We don't encounter the scarecrow until a little later because it's this other guy. But we know who it is. It's pretty obvious who it's going to be. It's the author thinks of himself as the scarecrow, and he's the guy that goes with the witch. But yeah, so I think that's what's going on. It's unclear because of that post-interlude sequence, and you're like, he's the scarecrow. Kind of doesn't work. Okay, but the makeup didn't, quite work. It was a little too advanced, I would say. The guy playing the scarecrow in the original movie, it didn't look like that. They did the tin guy kind of right. They got him kind of right. Yeah, not the Tin Woodsman guy. They got him kind of right. But they made him like really, really angry, and if he'd behaved like that in the original story, he would have freaked out the children that were watching it. So it wouldn't have done that. It was a little angry, but he didn't have a heart, right? So you're gonna go find his heart. Yeah, and the other one has missing a brain. You have to find his brain. And the lion has to have his courage. Missing his courage. There were other versions of the Baum stories, and there have been other adaptations. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and Return to Oz, and a lot of other ones. And even, oddly enough, a movie called that Atoz movie, that weird Sean Connery movie was a Wizard of Oz movie. This futuristic, hippie Sean Connery movie. Oh yeah. What was that? Zardoz. Yeah, Zardoz. It was Zardoz. Was a spinoff. So yeah, this idea has been done a few times, and yeah, yeah, some of it was like, well, they how would they know that events have to happen the way the book and the other stories happen? Kind of like they're doing like a point by point. Okay, I have to. Dorothy has to find the shoes in the background. Dorothy has to go over here and do this, and the guy's got to find the bucket of water over here. I'll leave the bucket of water. And here's the book, which wasn't the book is in the play, but not in the book. Yeah, the magic book is is the play in the movie. Yeah, but not necessarily in the book. Well, I guess it kind of is a little bit, but and Gwendolyn like sees it and it changes or something when she gets a hold of it. Yeah, there's one of the flying monkeys talks at the end in a Clint Cowpoke voice, which was funny. Well, of course. Ah, yes. I am Optimus Prime. Gwendolyn, I'm going to save you. Clang. It wasn't Peter Cullen. It was Clint Cowpoke as one of the monkeys. He played a monkey. But yes, it wasn't really. It just was a guy imitating him. But yes, yeah, I'm not at Universal. That'd be funny though. Paramount and Skydance, and a little bit of Disney and Marvel. No. But yeah, so we have a movie that's trying to be behind the scenes, yes, of the Wizard. Yeah, and in doing so makes some of the events a little skewed, and things happen that are skewed. And I don't really want to give away the twist, or who all the three guys are. You can kind of guess if you've seen the play. But yeah, the play. I did like that second song, that the one about the you're the one for me kind of love song thing. Oh, that one's cool, or whatever it was. I don't remember what it's exactly called. You don't need to go into comments going, "This is what it's called." You just don't know. I don't care about whether I'm wrong or right or wrong in this. I'm just doing a review. So if I get it wrong, I get it wrong. I knew the other one was the Gravity song. But yeah, she has wizard powers from somewhere. The witch does. Of course, there was some riff tracking going on, and like when the witch gets a boyfriend, there. Oh, wait a minute! Somebody told, wait a minute. If they kiss, they'll get like saliva on each other, and it'll burn her. That's true. Or if he gets with her and he finishes, he will also burn her. Oh my goodness! So clearly, in making these jokes during the film, then it kind of reveals one of the twists later on. Let's say, well, obviously the other twist didn't really happen in the original movie because that makes no sense. There's a twist that happened. Yeah, so yeah, obviously, yeah, they were just like they were tricking him again. She has the tricky powers of her. Well, let's say her father. Yes, but not actually give it away. Yes. Yeah. So freeze the animals at the wedding. Yeah, this is going to be a wedding. Elzevir frees the animals after talking to Glendola, and then the husband turns around and wants to go off with Elphaba. So the animals are freed. Yeah, so that's kind of one scene that happens. Yeah, so and then yeah, it's kind of kind of the plot is a wedding where your friend steals your bride at the wedding, steals your husband at the wedding and runs off. There's also a Maury Povich scene involving the wizard and the who's the father identity of someone. But we kind of knew that from the last one. It's already like heavily implied in the last one, if not actually said. But yeah, I don't want to necessarily give it all away. I'm not going to do an in-depth review of the differences of the film. Like, well, wait until the if there's a Clara Awards this year for the one of the best pictures, it'll be one of the best pictures. Yeah. So Wicked for Good. Ultimately, the wickedness of the character, and the other one the other one, Glenda, who's in that weird realm where it's not a real realm. It's her little palace thing where she looks in a mirror and she's over here, and looks in another mirror and she's over here. This sort of Q continuum thing going on. Well, more like a Rube Goldberg mirror thing, or mirror room or something, with a little bit of hollow mirrors kind of thing. More so than a Q continuum. But she wasn't trapped in it. She was just singing in it, in that room, in Grande. And them girls got a set of pipes on them. They kept implying that the two of them were lovers at some point. A lot of times, I'm sure the right wingers don't like that. I'm sure they're like freaking out. Oh my God, how could they be? There's being, the hot lesbians are. Like, no, they that's kind of in the play too. But yeah, now if the witch actually was ugly instead of ridiculously hot, then that would be an entirely different thing in terms of the vanity and that kind of thing. That's addressed by Gwendola being completely beautiful and everything. And so if the witch is also beautiful, it kind of throws it off a little bit. She's not supposed to be, She's like, what's the deal here? And also by making her the actress clearly African American, it kind of was like the town that are all white are going after the black lady because she's black. It's kind of racist. Or as someone else said, she's an Orion chick. What's an Orion chick? Some Star Trek fans. Yeah, yeah, she's an Orion chick. Yeah, Orions are hot. Some of them. But they would kill you. Oh. They're pirates. Yarr. Yeah. Movie bad. Wicked. So yeah, Wicked 2. I imagine the Rule 34 is flying on this movie. And we're defying gravity. Anyways, that's my rather I'll imitate Jeff Goldblum from the movie. My brother disconnected movie about the witches. And, one of them who is clearly one of my offspring, who I clearly didn't bang, but yes, it's a little different than Shatner. Shatner imitation is more like, Spock, I don't know what to say. Spock. Whereas Jeff Goldblum is more like, yes, I realize, yes, I am a charlatan. And then there's Sam Neill, who's a little different. You're the human piece of toaster. You are the human piece of toaster. I'm not sure why I put two syllables in the word toast there, but I did. Human piece of toaster. Human piece of toasty. A toasty. Piece of toasty. Yes. Which they fixed in the later DVD releases of that, so he said toast. Because toasties didn't make any sense. Yeah. It was on the video version. Anyway, so yeah, there. So anyway, yeah. I guess I'm done with the review. Went off on a little bit of a tangent, but not much. Spa. Yeah, go see Wicked for good. Wicked for good. Go see it. Yeah. I don't want to give away too much, because it's all dependent on the behind the scenes of Wizard of Oz, And the shoes, change the ruby shoes. The funny thing about the ruby slippers is the ruby slippers were originally white. They were like emerald diamonds or whatever. They changed them to ruby slippers because it was Technicolor, the earliest dates of Technicolor, and they're like, let's make them red so they show up. And that's the only reason they made the witch green too. In the book, she's not green. So their whole premise of the whole movie doesn't work unless in that universe the book is literally a sequel to the Yale Bomb movie, not the book, which is interesting. Yeah. The movie where she's green, whereas in the original Yale Bomb book, she is not green. Winston was way too scared. He would have freaked out Dorothy. She would have been like, oh my gosh, why are you acting like that? The yellow brick road. I'm building a yellow brick road and plopping down bricks on the ground in a straight line. That's physically impossible. I've laid bricks in the backyard. That's not possible. Can't make a machine do that. Oh.